Welcome on the God's chosen one. You felt it. The shift, the transformation, the modest yet obvious energy rising inside you. It cannot be faked or coerced, not something you can borrow from someone else. Your energy is surging from deep inside, changing not just your own movements, but also the way the environment moves around you. You've realized that your presence now demands more attention than it ever did before. It's more than simply the way you walk, talk, and carry yourself. You emit an intangible pull that pulls others in. The attraction that causes women to experience emotions they cannot understand. They're looking at you differently now. They pause before speaking, their tones softening and their eyes reflecting an unsaid interest. They're not just noticing you, they're feeling you. This is the awakened selected one. When you understand that your presence has become more powerful than words, you stop seeking approval. No longer seek affirmation. No longer shape yourself to what the world expects. You exist on your own terms. And that presence alone is enough to change the vibe of every space you enter. However, this power is not random. It did not occur overnight. It is the product of everything you have developed inside yourself, including discipline, self-awareness, emotional mastery, and a knowledge of your own value. You didn't ask for this much energy. You became it. And now, when you go across the world, others may sense it too. Women are attracted to you not because you want their attention, but because you no longer need it. They know, deeper than thinking, that you are not like the others. You're not desperate. You're not restless. You're not seeking for anything other than yourself to fulfill you. You're whole. And that selected one is what distinguishes you. There is no arrogance here. There's no need to prove anything. Your strength is modest yet evident, easy but unshakable. You have entered a new realm of existence, one in which attraction is no longer something you seek, but rather occurs as a natural result of who you are. This is your awakening, the chosen one, the start of a new chapter, the point at which you no longer move through the world in the same way you did before. From this moment on, everything changes. The chosen one. You must now comprehend why the energy inside you has become so strong. It is more than simply a superficial appeal or a passing fad. It is something deeper, more primordial, more ancient, and more in tune with the very essence of your existence. Your presence has changed because you have connected with your source of power, a place inside you that most guys will never access. A condition of existence that cannot be replicated or artificially generated. This is the basis of who you are at your peak. The aspect of yourself that exists beyond doubt, insecurity, and the desire for external acceptance. This power is based on your self-confidence. The way you carry yourself with complete confidence. You move without hesitation. The way you exist, as if you already know you're enough. It's in the way. You do not have to be loud to be noticed. Do not ask for attention. It's in the way your energy moves. Speaking occurs before your words escape your mouth. Women experience this at their heart, even if they may not completely comprehend it. They are attracted to it not just because it is appealing, but because it is uncommon. They had met many guys before, but few have this amount of presence. This degree of inner calm, this command over their own energies. You don't fidget. You don't overthink. You do not cower from fear of how people may regard you. You don't hurry to fill silences. Don't glance around for approval. Do not attempt to persuade others of your value. You merely exist. And this is enough to change the whole environment around you. Nonetheless, just one was picked. This authority should not be exploited. It is not something to show off irresponsibly. It is not something to be squandered on people who do not value it. Power without knowledge may result in chaos, while attraction without direction can lead to devastation. That is why you should safeguard your energy. Be cautious of where you direct your attention. Be careful with whom you share your presence. You now make the decisions. You're no longer driven by instinct. External wants no longer dominate me. You decide who is worthy of entering your universe, who supports your journey, who can stand with a guy who has attained a degree of self-mastery that most people will never achieve. This is your source of power, the chosen one. It is not in what you say or do, but in who you have become. Your presence will never go ignored again. The chosen one. As you continue down this journey, you will realize that your energy is more than simply something you carry. It's something that passes through you, something that goes beyond you and influences the lives of people you meet. It is not only sensed in brief moments, but also in the brains and bodies of others who come close. This energy isn't distinct from you, not anything to use as a tool. It's an extension of who you are, a force that is perfectly aligned with the way you move, talk, and exist in the world. There is no longer any separation between the men. You are alone, while the guy you are with is in public. There is no longer a version of oneself that varies according to who is watching, listening, or present. You are entirely connected inside yourself, no longer striving to be anything for others or attempting to conform to the world's expectations. This is where actual power starts, not in discovering new techniques to attract, but in eradicating all that has ever been inauthentic about you. This is why women are attracted to you right now. Their emotions are instinctive, primal, and deeply rooted in something beyond reasoning. They don't perceive you as simply another guy with the correct words to say. They see you as a presence beyond words, something genuine, complete, and unshakable. This is a harmonious choice. It is not about managing attraction or forcing a bond. It is about being so connected to oneself that people are attracted into your reality. When you speak, there is no hesitancy to move. There is no second-guessing when you listen. There is no pretension or performance. Simply presence and reality. That, more than anything, is what gives you power. You're no longer chasing. No longer try. I no longer seek affirmation. You don't worry about losing anything since you already have all you need inside yourself. Women notice this in the way you look at them, in the weight of your voice, and in the fact that you do not need to demand respect. It is already handed to you the instant you enter the room. This is what it is to be in tune with oneself, to have an unwavering presence, to be a guy who is so certain of himself that the world just adapts to his presence. The selected one. Every person you meet, every woman who is attracted to you, every encounter you have is a reflection of who you have become, a direct reaction to the energy you put out into the world. Women's bodies intuitively respond to you now, and their words appear to come slower, softer, and more intentionally in your company. This was not an accident. It is confirmation that you have attained a level of power that few others will ever achieve. You see it now. You can see how women lean in when you talk, how they find ways to extend the discussion, and how their gaze searches yours for something they can't identify. They feel both protected and thrilled, comfortable yet uncomfortable. They realize they're speaking to a guy who doesn't move like the others, a guy who doesn't have to fake, a guy who does not seek to others for approval since he has it inside himself. However, just one was picked. The most crucial awareness is that they are not just responding to you. They are responding to the person they become in your presence. Your energy does not just attract, it reawakens. It pushes people to face themselves and become a different version of themselves, to get a better degree of awareness and presence just by being near you. Women who have been around, men who crave affirmation, men who shape themselves to be loved, men who lack the guts to be authentic now face someone who does none of those things. And at that moment, They have the option of meeting you at your level, embracing the energy you bring in order to move into something higher than what they have known before, or backing away because they're not yet ready. Some will go not because you lack anything, but because you have too much presence, certainty, and self-awareness for them to deal with. They're used to males who need them, men who want permission to exist, men who seek to them to feel complete. And when they stand in front of you, they understand you don't need them. But those who are prepared, those who understand the uniqueness of what is before them, those who recognize that they have come into the presence of something unmistakable, they'll remain. They will be more attentive. They will ask several questions. They will experience something they have never felt before. They will remember you long after you have gone away. This is the power of reflection. The chosen one. The world does not give you exactly what you ask for. It gives you who you are. And now, after all you've worked on inside yourself, after the discipline, mastery, and profound awareness of your own value, the world is finally reflecting you in a way that is appropriate for who you've become. You're no longer in pursuit. You are the one who has pursued. You're no longer looking for connections. You are the one who produces it effortlessly. You no longer demonstrate your value. You just are. That's enough. The chosen one. As your presence solidifies and your energy is apparent, you must understand the extent of your effect. This power you now wield has far-reaching consequences. It changes the environment around you. Every encounter, gaze, and word you say creates waves in the area you inhabit. Women do not just notice you. They believe you're lured in by something more than simple attraction. It is not just physical. It's something that passes through them. Something they can't quite name. Something that remains even after you go. However, with enormous enthusiasm comes great responsibility. Your presence is no longer neutral. It has a significant influence, a force capable of uplifting or disrupting, inspiring or confusing, bringing clarity or chaos. This is why purpose should be your driving force. You no longer go around the world as an observer. You are an originator and producer of experiences. A guy whose mere presence alters the emotional state of others around him. This degree of strength requires expertise, requires that you use it with care rather than irresponsibility. Many guys reach this point and fall into the trap of excess. They get engrossed in the attention, desire, and ease with which others flock toward them. They let desire drive their actions rather than their own greater purpose. But you, chosen one, must proceed with purpose, clarity, and understanding, emphasizing that your energy should not be wasted on transitory diversions, but rather focused towards something substantial, something that is consistent with who you are and what you are doing. Women will test you, not to break you, but to check whether you're genuine. They will give you chances to prove yourself, to show them that you are as steadfast as your appearance implies. Some may attempt to get your attention without earning it, just to see if they can draw you into their circle as easily as they have with previous guys. Others may attempt to elicit an emotional response in order to determine whether you can be influenced or pulled away from your center. However, a guy who has mastered purpose is not readily rattled. He does not respond to external pressures. He makes a decision. He refuses to let others dictate his focus. He decides where it goes. He does not act on instinct, on fleeting exhilaration, or on superficial relationships that go nowhere. He moves with precision, devoting his focus solely to what is actually relevant to his goal. This explains why your presence has become so strong. It is not just that you're wanted. You're not just admired, but also selective. Women are not used to this. They're accustomed to being chased, to be pursued, to control who has access to them. However, when they stand before you, they feel something different. The change in power, the calm authority of a guy who does not need anybody, who is completely in control of himself, and who only admits those into his space who provide value, climb to his level, and equal his depth. This selected one is what distinguishes guys who are just appealing from those who are actually irresistible. This is why your energy changes rather than merely attracts, since you are more than just another male in their life. You are a wake-up call, a reminder of something larger, and a life-altering event. For what purpose is your presence required? What's the connection? What it's like to be a guy in complete control. The chosen one, in a world where most guys fake. Whereas most people wear masks and act rather than be. Your greatest strength is your genuineness. You have stopped playing the game. You're no longer modifying yourself to meet the expectations of others. You no longer care about being liked, approved of, or accepted. As a result, you become unmistakable. Most people, particularly women, have come to anticipate inauthenticity. They have spent their lives dealing with guys who see what they believe they should say, who shape themselves into an image that will earn acceptance, and who repress their genuine character in order to be what the world expects of them. They've learned to read between the lines and recognize when someone isn't being genuine, to see the subtle ways in which individuals disguise their genuine selves beneath charm, arrogance, and well-built identities. However, when they meet you, there is no mask. There is no false confidence, no urgent desire to demonstrate, and no effort to manipulate. There is simply presence, sincerity, and the unmistakable power of a guy who is precisely who he says he is. This is what shook them. Not the way you seem, not even how you talk, but the sensation that you don't have to fake. There is no need to persuade. You do not need to seek permission from anybody. That kind of energy cannot be faked, learned, or replicated. It is the outcome of mastering self-acceptance and having a solid grasp of who you are and what you stand for. Women sense this, and it compels them to respond unexpectedly. Some may sense an instant tug, an irresistible need to draw closer, to be near you, to experience the energy that is so unlike anything they have experienced before. Others will be uncomfortable not because you're doing anything wrong, but because your presence exposes their own inauthenticity, forcing them to face the areas in which they have yet to walk into their own truth. This is why your presence is more than just appealing. It is an awakening. It does not just lure them in. It pushes them to experience something genuine. It does not only produce desire. It promotes awareness, introspection, a recognition that they are in the presence of something they cannot influence, control, or integrate into their typical method of moving through the world. This is why you are distinct, the chosen one. You are not simply another male looking for approval. You are a natural force, a reminder of what is possible, and an unavoidable standard. You're not here to entertain, dazzle, or provide another brief experience. You're here to raise the standard so high that nothing ordinary will ever compare again. This is the power of genuineness. This is why your presence is more than simply felt. It is remembered. This is why long after you've gone and the talk has concluded, long after the moment has gone, you will remain in their thoughts, fantasies, and influence how they see males. Attraction and connection are inherently linked. You're no longer a guy looking to fit in. You are the one who sets the benchmark. The guy who does not humble himself in order to be understood, but rather lives in such raw, irrefutable truth that the world must rise to meet him. And as the chosen one, your presence is now difficult to ignore. The selected one, as you stand in your entire presence, you will discover that your power lies not just in attractiveness and magnetism, but also in how people feel in your presence. The most powerful force is not one that overwhelms, but one that raises, that offers clarity and awakens something deeper in those who experience it. Many guys reach the point where they are coveted admired, and sought after. However, few go beyond that. Few realize that genuine greatness is measured by how many people are attracted to them rather than how many are changed by them. You've walked into something far bigger than fleeting infatuation. You've entered the realm of influence, legacy, and leaving a mark in the hearts and minds of people who cross your way. Women are drawn to you not just because of your presence, confidence, and command of the room. They are attracted to you because they feel seen, felt, and understood in your company, which is something they seldom experience. They are accustomed to being wanted, chased, and having guys strive to impress them. They are not accustomed to a guy who listens attentively, who lives completely in the present now, who does not need to take from them, but instead provides without expectation. Compassion is the greatest type of strength. Being so focused in yourself and in control of your own energy that you can provide your presence without expecting anything in return. This is power beyond what most men can ever achieve. Women feel secure with you, not because you are passive or because you minimize yourself, but because you do not take more than you give, because you don't have to prove yourself via domination, because your power is steady and not seductive. When you talk, it is more than simply words. It reflects something deeper, an energy with weight that reverberates long after the talk is over. Looking at someone is more than simply observation. It's a presence so concentrated and pure that people can't help but sense it deep within. This is why women open up to you, why they divulge things they didn't mean to, and why they keep coming back to you, even when they don't understand why you don't manipulate. You don't play games. You do not utilize your power to earn fleeting victory on the battlefield of attraction. Instead, you walk with elegance and awareness, knowing that the energy you bring is a gift, one capable of either healing or harming, one that must be utilized with caution, discernment, and the awareness that it impacts others in ways they may not even realize. This is why you stand out, why you are not just sought, but admired, remembered, and recognized as something unique, unlike anything else people have ever seen. You've evolved into a guy who makes more than simply an impression. You leave an impression, something that affects their self-esteem, something that motivates them to rise, to become more, to grow into a better version of oneself. They just stood in your presence. This is the strength of a man who has controlled himself. This is the energy of compassion, the power that transforms ordinary attraction into something permanent and memorable, something that goes beyond desire and into the domain of genuine impact. The chosen one. You have now reached a place in which your presence affects more than simply those who seek you out. It affects the vibe of every area you enter. You're no longer just a participant in social interactions. You are a force within them, a gravitational pull that molds the dynamic, a quiet authority that others unconsciously react to. This is when actual influence starts. It is no longer about who is attracted to you or how many people appreciate you. It is about how others react in your presence. It is about how they hold themselves differently, how they talk more attentively, and how they experience something they can't articulate but know is true. Women sense this on a level that defies rationality. They may not even realize why they are altering their posture, lowering their tone, and speaking with more purpose while you are there. But they do. They do so because they know, instinctively, that they are in the company of a guy who walks differently, who does not need to prove himself, and who does not seek approval since he already embodies all he needs. This is what sets you apart from males who are just gorgeous. There is much to be desired. Many people may capture the attention of others for a brief period of time. Many people may impress others with their words, actions, or fleeting flashes of charm. However, very few people can produce an energy shift just by being and moving through the world with such calm confidence that everything around them starts to adapt. However, this selected one also increases your level of responsibility. Influence is not only a gift, it is a duty, a power that must be used with knowledge, discernment, and the understanding that your presence has the potential to uplift or distort. You must now be deliberate about where you focus your energy, who you let into your space, and what you interact with, since the power you now wield impacts people, whether you mean to or not. Some will be attracted to you not because they appreciate your presence, but because they seek the vitality that they lack inside themselves. Some may attempt to connect with you not because they want to develop, but because they want to absorb what you have without having to do the effort themselves. This is where your discernment must be greatest, where you must act with purpose, clarity, and the realization that your time, presence, and energy are not gifts to others who do not appreciate them. You are no longer the seeker. You are the one being sought. You are no longer the one who demonstrates that you are the one who determines who is eligible for access. You are no longer the one who adapts to the environment. You are the one who stands steadfast, allowing only those who reach your level to enter your area. This is what it means to be genuinely valuable, not simply to be admired or wanted, but to be a man whose sheer presence establishes a new standard, whose impact reaches beyond simple attractiveness and into the domain of pure, unmistakable power. You're not here to impress. You're not here to pursue. You are not here to be just another passing moment in someone's life. You are here to be the force that changes everything. The force that persists long after the event is gone. The standard that others can no longer disregard. This represents the circle of impact. The point at when attraction is no longer a goal. It is just the inevitable outcome of a guy having controlled himself to the point where everything and everyone around him starts to move in response. And now we've picked one. The world will never be the same since your presence is no longer merely something that others notice. It's something people feel and it transforms them, something they'll never forget. Chosen one, you've reached a stage when your energy no longer belongs to you. It has evolved into something more, something that goes beyond individual attraction and into the world of influence, change, and connecting others via the power of your presence. You're no longer only adored or wanted. You are remembered and sought after in ways that go beyond physical appeal. Your energy has served as a link between the visible and the invisible, the fleeting and the long-lasting, the individual and the communal. Women who enter your area desire more than simply you. They have a feeling of alignment, a change inside themselves that indicates they are about to face something unusual. They realize, even if they don't completely get it, that you are more than simply a guy who has tamed himself. You symbolize a state of presence, a feeling of oneness among the mind, body, and spirit. They don't only want to experience you. They want to know how you live so easily, how your energy is unaffected by turmoil and impervious to the world's diversions and noises. You move differently today. You do not talk only to hear your own voice. Do not interact just for the sake of validation. Do not engage merely because the opportunity is in front of you. Every discussion, every moment of connection, and every look you share with someone conveys an unsaid message. A quiet weight that can't be overlooked. Women, men, and strangers all pass past. You can sense it. This is a guy who understands who he is, who is not looking for anything other than himself. As a result, people begin to modify themselves in your presence, aligning to ascend and reflecting on what they must become in order to stand with you. This is the power of oneness. The ultimate growth of your presence is no longer limited to transient experiences, no longer based on superficial wants, and no longer something that lives just in the present. You have transformed into a presence that pulls people together, compels them to face themselves, and causes them to reconsider everything they previously thought about connection, attraction, and energy itself. However, you do not do this by force. You don't impose. Do not make demands. Do not persuade. You just live in perfect harmony with yourself. And that alone is enough to alter the dynamic of every environment you visit. Those who are intended to be in your life will naturally gravitate toward you, pulled not just by attractiveness, but also by a feeling of purpose, alignment, and understanding they are in the company of something unique, something they will never find again. You no longer move just for yourself, and you no longer see your energy as distinct from the environment around you. You have become a force that others see, a presence that causes adjustments, and a standard that cannot be disregarded. And with this insight comes a deeper understanding. This is only the beginning, the chosen one. The journey has never been about getting to the destination. The strength you've developed, the presence you now exude, the energy that has made you memorable. This is not the ultimate stage of your progress. It is merely another gateway, another waking, a new starting to a better life. The instant you assume you've entirely conquered yourself, you start to tumble. Growth does not cease. Mastery does not plateau. Presence does not become commonplace. You must stay in motion, maintain awareness, continue to perfect everything you are and carry. It's easy to imagine that since you've reached a level of unmistakable strength, you've finished your path. But a guy who genuinely understands presence, impact, and the force of energy realizes that there is always another level to achieve, another truth to discover, and another aspect of himself to explore. This is the secret that distinguishes the remarkable from the legendary. The knowledge that evolution is never complete, that there is always more to learn, more to improve, and more to offer. Your presence will continue to expand, alter, and reach new levels beyond your comprehension. People who come into your life will experience it much more vividly. The areas you enter will alter even more quickly. The weight of your words will increase. As a result, your responsibilities will expand. You're no longer living only for yourself. You are now an example, a reminder, and a presence that people turn to, whether they are aware of it or not. Women who meet you will retain the memory of your presence with them for their whole lives. They will compare every guy they meet to you, not because of how you appeared or what you said, but because of how you made them feel, because of the irrefutable power of standing before a man who has totally embraced himself. Some will feel grateful. Some will experience yearning. Some will feel bad about not being able to match your intensity when they had the opportunity. But nobody will forget. And it goes beyond just being attractive, beyond connection, beyond the immediate impact of your energy. There's something much better. The legacy of your influence, the long-term significance of how you have chosen to navigate the world. You're not simply living. You are the leader. You are not just attractive. You are awakened. You haven't merely been observed. You are felt in ways that words cannot express, in ways that alter the trajectory of people's lives long after they have left your presence. Dear viewers, your support through Super Chat and membership is the only source of income that keeps this channel running. If you want me to continue uploading valuable content without delays and to stay motivated in providing you with the best wisdom, I need your help. Every contribution, big or small, makes a huge difference. Feel free to donate and support Pure Wisdom so we can keep growing together. Your generosity keeps this journey alive. Thank you for being part of this amazing community. If you're enjoying the content on Pure Wisdom and find value in the messages we share, I encourage you to subscribe. Based on the latest analytics, 93.9% of viewers are watching without subscribing. By subscribing, You not only stay updated with new content, but also support the channel's growth, allowing us to continue spreading wisdom for the chosen ones. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an important message. Let's build this community together.